I absolutely love that countdown. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mapping Your Education with the University of Toronto, Mississauga. My name is Deborah Peart, and I am a student recruitment officer with UTM. I've got some people here with me. I'd love to have them introduce themselves. How about we start with you, Trent?
Hello, thank you, Deborah. So my name is Trent Barwick, and I work as the Student Engagement Coordinator of Transition Programs with the Center for Student Engagement.
Fabulous. How about you, Arianne?
Hi everyone, my name is Arianne and I'm a student ambassador at UTM and I'm excited to share with you my current experience.
Wonderful, fabulous. Hey, Connor, how's it going there?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Deborah, and thanks everyone for joining us. My name is Connor Savory. I'm a student recruitment officer here at UTM.
Super fabulous. And I want to let everybody know, these folks are going to be joining us once again. Arianne in just a couple of minutes. But first, bye everybody. But first, I want to give you a little breakdown about what Mapping Your Education is all about, why we're presenting this to you this evening. So we are aware that right now you're all in different places. Maybe you're in grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, but you're planning what your education is going to look like after high school. So we're just giving you an introduction. We're kind of letting you dip your toe into what the possibilities are moving forward. So we're going to give you some information about UTM itself, about the programs that we have, and especially about student life. So how about we get started? First, let's do a land acknowledgement for the University of Toronto. We wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. Now, it would be an absolute pleasure to bring Arianne right back on here. And Arianne is going to talk a little bit about what it's like to be a student at UTM. I'll see you in a bit.
See ya! Okay, thank you, Deborah. So hello again, everyone. Once again, my name is Arianne. I am a fourth-year student at UTM pursuing a double major in political science and French studies. So I graduated high school with my Ontario Secondary School diploma and the IB diploma. In high school, I was also a part of Model UN and DECA. So for those who are unfamiliar, Model UN holds conferences concerning different global relations issues, while DECA had business-related case competitions. Both extracurricular opportunities gave me the chance to explore two subjects I was interested in learning at the university level, business and political science. So in terms of figuring out my post-secondary journey, it was all just a matter of deciding which program spoke to my interests. So to help me make my decision, I attended a lot of events and info sessions catered to university applicants, and I practically spoke with every admissions representative to better understand the programs they offered. I didn't think about what type of career I wanted to pursue after university until someone jokingly told me that I would be a great lawyer. So I knew I would have to earn an undergraduate degree before applying to law school, and I could essentially choose what I wanted to study. I started to gravitate towards the idea of becoming a corporate lawyer, and so I applied for commerce programs. So it felt like a win-win by mixing in my DECA and Model UN experiences. Although I applied and got into UTM for commerce, I ended up choosing my majors to be political science and French studies because I truly enjoyed taking these courses and felt that this is what I really wanted to study. At UTM, you're never limited to what you initially applied for. There's a whole breadth of courses and programs you'll be opened up to just by coming here. At the end of the day, university is truly a place where you can learn more about yourself and find out what you want to do. So thanks everyone for listening to my experience. I'm going to call back Deborah because she actually has something she wants to share with you.
I've got a lot I want to share, Arianne, but I want to tell you, thank you very much. I also want people to know they can come, they can ask you questions, right, Arianne? Because you're going to come back at the end. Yes,
yeah, I'm not leaving yet.
Great. So thank you so much. We'll see you in a bit. Okay. So with that being said as well, I also want you to know that Connor's going to be coming back. Connor is going to be coming back with some questions that you might present in the chat, which we are going to answer. So how about we move forward here and talk about role reversal, good old role reversal. So right now you are in high school and there are people who are guiding you through your high school educational experience. And that person is usually your guardian or your parent. They're in the driver's seat. Now, you might have an idea of what kind of a car it is that you want to drive, but your parents are the ones right now who are responsible for making sure that that car is operational. Now, they are responsible for your education, essentially. They're responsible for ensuring that you actually go to class and complete your high school diploma. Parents are also responsible for any fees or additional payments that need to be made. So if you need to go on a field trip, let's say, they're actually putting that money forward for those fees. And parents can ask for information from your high school about you. They can find out what your grades are. They can find out if you were in attendance. They can actually help you as well. I hope it's help with the courses that you do want to take throughout your high school experience as well. Now, when you get to university, guess what happens? They're out of the driver's seat. They're moving into the passenger seat, and you get to take over that car. You get to drive whatever it is that you want to drive. You get to go as fast or as slow as you want to go in that car as well. But you are responsible for the maintenance of that car. Now, your parent, as the passenger, they can make suggestions as to certain directions that you may want to take, but you are the one who's going to make that final decision. As an adult, because that's how we see you now when you're getting to university, as an adult, you are in fact responsible for your education. What this means is that you need to be motivated. You are the one who is self-directed in completing your education. As an adult, you are responsible for your tuition fees. You are responsible for paying back any loans. If you take out a credit card in your name, guess what? You are responsible for paying back that credit card. Even if your parents are involved within that student loan process, you are the one responsible for paying it back. Student information is also only released to you as the student. So nobody can call up the university and say, hey, can I get some information on grades? Or did my student attend their class today? You are the one responsible for that, which also means you're responsible through the application process as well. So I got to say, lucky thing you're in high school right now. That means you get to work on your communication skills, both verbal and written. Now, let's take a look at the difference between high school, college, and university. As I had mentioned earlier, 9 to grade 11 is what we're looking at right now. So you may have an idea, right? You may know something I'm going to talk about, but maybe somebody else doesn't. I actually guarantee that if you have a question in your mind, somebody else in this group has a similar question. Now, let's take a look at high school, which you probably know pretty well by now. So in high school, you are building on the foundations from middle school. It's preparatory, right? So it's preparing you for the rest of your life. It's preparing you for after you graduate, which includes post-secondary education. It's about guided learning. I just talked about that guided learning. Not only does it include your parents or a circle of support, but it also includes educators, guidance counselors, other people in your life or in your community as well. And lucky for you, high school is some experiment with different things, right? You get to figure out what it is you like. You get to learn more about yourself. Now, once you graduate from high school, you may decide to go to either college or university. I want to preface this part by saying going to college or going to university has nothing to do with intellect. It does not indicate how smart or intelligent you are. I could very well go to college and then decide to go to university. I could go to university and then decide to go to college. It really has more to do with what appeals to you, right? What you're passionate about. But what's important is that you understand the difference between college and university when making those decisions in high school. So let's take a look at Ontario College. It is skills-based. So it's teaching you specific skills that are going to go toward job training. So I'm just going to pick an example of something that I think of right off the top of my head where you need particular skills is being a hairstylist. I need specific skills in order to do this job. If I go to college, I can learn those specific skills in order to do those technical skills. It's also a career-directed job as well. So those specific skills are training me for a particular career. And colleges are medium in size. You know, the other thing, colleges are a little bit younger. So the first college was founded in 1965 in Ontario. Now let's swing over and take a look at universities. Universities are a little bit different. So I like to think of it more as like a mind training, kind of knowledge training. In university, you're learning knowledge for knowledge's sake. Okay, so it's about critical thinking. This means that I'm going to get information and I'm going to be able to take that information and not go, yeah, that must be right. No, I've developed particular critical thinking skills, which allows me to question certain things. It's about independent learning as well. So once again, my parents are not getting involved in my university education. I am responsible for that. It means I am self-directed. It means I've developed problem-solving skills as well. That's one of the skills, one of those mind skills I'm going to learn in high school. It's about theoretical and historical knowledge as well. So universities are packed full of theory. There are so many different theories that you are going to be learning, but you're going to take those critical thinking skills that you're developing when you're looking at these different theories, and you're going to think to yourself, does that make sense? Am I on board with that theory? Or, I don't know. And they're also medium and large in size, and universities as well are pretty old. So the University of Toronto itself was founded in 1827. So, you know, there's a lot of theory over a lot of years at universities. Let's talk a little bit about the University of Toronto, Mississauga, place I absolutely love, and this is why we're here. So the University of Toronto, Mississauga, I'd say it equates to a mid-sized university. There are approximately 15,000 undergraduate students at UTM, and it is, in fact, a very close-knit community. It's also encircled as well. So we are surrounded by 225 acres of green space, and I want to remind everybody, if you haven't been to the Mississauga campus, you can. I'm going to talk a little bit about campus tours in a second. But within that green space and by the Credit River, there is a lot of research that happens out there as well. There are a couple of numbers that I want to point out to you here. 155 different programs available at UTM. The other number I absolutely love is over 60,000 alumni located globally. Remember, there are 138 different countries represented at the University of Toronto, Mississauga as well. So if we have over 60,000 alumni located globally from UTM alone, I'm getting the good feeling that I'll be able to meet somebody who graduated from UTM somewhere in the world. The University of Toronto itself has over 600,000 alumni located globally. The other thing I want you to know as well is that UTM, this is the University of Toronto. It does not matter which campus it is that you graduate from when you attend the University of Toronto. It will not be distinguished on your degree as to which campus you attended. It's all the University of Toronto. It's all the same knowledge, excellent research, excellent faculty across the board. Now, let's talk a little bit about those undergraduate programs that we have at UTM. I mentioned there are 155. At UTM, we are, in fact, arts, science, and business. That's what you're going to get at UTM. Looking at the different arts, science, and business programs, there are different ways for me to design my undergraduate experience. So when I'm getting my University of Toronto degree, I need to earn 20 credits in total to get that degree. That means that there are different ways for me to design my undergraduate experience. I could take the majority of those 20 credits and I could put them toward a specialist, let's say. Commerce, for example, that's a specialist. I could do a specialist in commerce, or let's say I could take those 20 credits and I could split them in half and I could do a double major. Or let's say I could take the 20 credits, split them in half, and then split it again, do a major double minor. Different ways for me to design my undergraduate. And you know what else I can do? I can add on certificates. I can add on internships. I can add on co-curricular experiences to really customize that undergraduate experience. Now, taking a look at these different undergraduate programs that we have as well, there are some programs that are exclusive to UTM. So for example, forensic science, you're only going to find that on the UTM campus, the oldest forensic science program available in the country. What else do we have here? Communications, culture, information, and technology. That is exclusive to UTM. And when we're looking at business programs, only UTM has commerce and management. So let's say I pick one of those and I decide I kind of want to change my mind. I can remain on the UTM campus and do commerce or management. The other thing that's exclusive to UTM, not a lot of people know about, I could do a Bachelor of Arts doing a major in commerce or management as well. So I don't have to specialize in it. That's pretty unique. Now, it's important that you do some research when you're looking at the different types of programs that you like, when you're thinking about which universities it is that you want to go to. When you're looking at UTM specifically, we do have 12 admissions categories that are available to you. Right now in high school, there's probably something that you're kind of drifting toward. You're kind of thinking, I think I really like that type of program. So what you can do is you can start doing your research. We're going to start out at the guidance counselor's office. But before you get to the guidance counselor's office, you want to do a little bit of research before you show up at the guidance counselor's office. Different ways for you to do that is the university website. You could certainly go on to a university and you can see what types of programs at U of T. I had mentioned we have admissions categories. Do they have admissions categories? What type of programs are available within those admissions categories? You can go on to OU Info as well and do a search for different programs that are available at any given university as well. There are school visits. And when I say school visits, I mean in the before times, recruitment officers, much like myself, would go out to high schools and we would make presentations. During the current times, we do in fact do virtual presentations to high schools as well. So I want you to keep an eye out for that. In the after times, we will more than likely be coming back out to your high school to continue to make presentations. And there are school visits, so you can come to our school as well. And you can do that in the form of different types of campus days. Could it be a March break event? Right now, we're having virtual March break events, and we are having some campus tours, Campus Plus tours on our campuses as well. But do you have an opportunity during Fall Campus Day to go onto a campus? Don't forget about university fairs. Those are also something that in the before times, recruitment officers would go to universities with different universities into a high school. There's the Ontario Universities Fair, which is kind of like, I equate it to a shopping mall for universities. So there are different kiosks set up. Students can come with your family. You can learn more information about any given university. 22 in Ontario. There's also the University View Book as well. We have our View Book available online. I'm going to touch a little bit on that in a moment. I'm going to touch on it right now. So how about we take a look at the different resources that are available for you. So we do have the undergraduate admissions bulletin. And I'm hoping one of my friends in the background there can throw the link up as to the UAB and what that looks like. In the background here, you see it kind of looks like a map. This map is of all three campuses. All three campuses have their admissions category listed along with the different programs that are available within that admissions category. The other handy thing about this as well is that it lists what the prerequisites are. What is the range to consider your application as well? What kind of a degree will it be that you will be earning? You get to draw comparisons among the 3 different campuses. If you get your hands on one of these UABs, I'd like to suggest you stick it up on your wall, especially if you need grade 9, grade 10 right now. I'd study this if I were you. How about we take a look at program plans as well? At UTM exclusively, we have program plans available for all of these different programs at UTM. So what this does is it lays out for me in PDF form what my 4 years of an undergraduate program could possibly look like. It's also going to tell me what are the courses I need to take in first year, second year, third year, fourth year. What are those international opportunities, those experiences I have? What are the co-curricular types of experiences that I could have over the 4 years as well? It also lists different types of careers that I might possibly do. There are program directories available as well. So I could click on this link, look at the program directory. It starts to get a bit into the academic calendar. I don't want to bog you down right now about the academic calendar, but it does list for you specific courses. You could click on them and you could see exactly what it is you'd learn within that course. And please don't forget, Discover U of T Mississauga. I'm going to talk about that right now. So with Discover, I wonder if that's how you found us right now for Mapping Your Education. You can discover more about UTM and what we have going on virtual in the virtual space. We have a lot going on in the virtual space. We have Discover Tours that are coming up at the end of the month as well. So please go back and take a look for those Discover Tours. And those are going to be happening virtually. As I had mentioned to you a little bit earlier, very exciting news. We have on-campus tours that are happening currently as well. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You've got to go on there. You've got to log on and book your appointment. Come and see us for a campus tour. We'd be more than happy to welcome you. Listen, this part gets me excited because I follow UTM Future. Of course I do, right? UTM Future is something that the students actually, they help to create the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I got to tell you, there's some stories on there you wouldn't believe. I strongly suggest you visit our social media, follow us. Hey, also go on to the UTM Future YouTube channel as well. We've got a lot of different shorts available there as well. Go take a look. Good stuff. Let's talk about the application process, right? Depending on where you are right now, if you're in grade 9, you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, it's a good idea to have a rough estimation. If you're in grade 11, I know right now in grade 11, you're putting the pedal to the metal because you want to be prepared. So when we're looking at the application process, okay, the deadline is going to be somewhere in mid-January, but here's the deal. I want you to get that application in as soon as possible. Probably on the OUAC, it's probably going to open up sometime in October. Would be great if you could get your application in maybe sometime in November or December. That way we can start communicating with you. That means that if, there's documentation or something that we need, we can start letting you know about that. You're ahead of the game. You might get an early offer, maybe sometime in December, maybe, but at least you've got your application in. You can rest and concentrate on the rest of your studies to get those grades. January to April, we could be asking for additional documentation. This could depend on whether or not maybe you're an international student. It could be that you're a student from another province as well. February to May, decisions are being sent out. So currently, we're sending out decisions to those students who applied, who are in grade 12 right now. And the deadline to respond to offers will be stated in a student's letter of offer. But if you're a 105 applicant, it's more than likely going to be sometime May 1st. And if you are a domestic Ontario student, it could be June 1st. Communications are very important. Now, as I had mentioned to you, you have different choices, right? When you're applying to university. I think that UTM would be a really good bet. I do, but you have different choices. And it's important that you make sure that you organize your communications. What I always like to suggest is that you create for yourself a professional email, first name dot last name at whatever it is. I'm not going to plug Gmail or Hotmail. I want you to create a professional email for yourself. Also, remember when you're applying, please make sure you apply with that professional email and not necessarily your high school email, because once the process gets started, can we still communicate with you through your high school email? So make sure you've got that professional email. And then I want you to create file folders within that professional email. File folders for the University of Toronto, Mississauga. All communications that you get, you're going to open that communication. You are going to read it thoroughly. Is there action that needs to be taken? You shall take such action. Close it up, put it in the file folder. Keep yourself organized. I always love to give that tip. The other thing too is that offers are conditional. So as I had mentioned, we are sending out offers right now. We could possibly make a decision based on as many grade 12 grades as you have as possible, and maybe some grade 11 grades. That's why I said to you, if you're in grade 11 right now, you're putting the pedal to the metal, because we may make some decisions. But all offers that we make to people who have not completed their high school diploma are in fact conditional. They come with terms and conditions. So maybe a condition could be that you need to get a certain percentage in grade 12 English in order to clear this term or condition. Or I know for sure one of the conditions that you have to accept by the deadline. I know that for sure. Please know what the terms and conditions of your offer are so that you can clear your high school diploma. That's another one, so that you can clear it as well. Meeting English proficiency. See that right here. Submitting final transcripts that are going to be done through the OUAC as well, maintaining those grades and prerequisites. Now we'll take a look and see what does the schedule kind of look like. So grade 12, okay, that's the only time I get to apply. I may be putting the pedal to the metal in grade 11, but I'm applying in grade 12. Once again, January, I want to try to get my application in as soon as possible. International, early is November. Recommended deadline, we're going to take a look and we're going to see, is it mid-January sometime in 2023? OUAC is where you are going to put your application in, and we want to start communicating with you. January to April, sending in those documents I had mentioned to you earlier. February to May, we're sending out those offers. Sometime by the end of May, students will know most definitely from the University of Toronto. You shall hear from us. What say we? And then what say you come May 1st or June 1st? When you submit that application through the OUAC website, in about a week's time, maybe 10 days, you're going to get an email from us acknowledging your application, okay? Because the OUAC is going to take the applications that they receive, they're going to send them to the universities. We're going to get yours. We're going to respond with an email, and in that email, we'll have your Join U of T portal. You're going to go, remember what I told you earlier? You're going to get that email. You're going to open it up. You're going to read it thoroughly. Is there action to be taken? I can tell you from the first email that we're going to send you, yes, there is. It's going to be to activate your Join U of T portal. And this is where we will be communicating with you. If you'd like to see the status of your application, you need to be able to access the Join U of T portal. When you access it, it is going to show you what's outstanding when it comes to your documents. Have we received those transcripts yet through the OUAC? The other thing I want as well, please know, what are the grades that are being submitted from your high school to the OUAC? And what does the OUAC have on file as your grades? Please keep that in mind as well. Now, let's talk a little bit about finances, because this, in fact, is, a big part of going to university. In the opening slides, I had talked about how you are responsible for the finances. You are responsible for paying off your student loans, for tuition, fees. You are responsible for all of that. With that being said, if you're in grade 9 right now, grade 10 right now, perfect. Grade 11, what am I talking about? perfect time for you to start taking a look at your finances and trying to assess for yourself, what is it that I'm going to need when it comes to tuition, books, transportation. I can do this using the U of T financial planning calculator. So when I go into the financial planning calculator, I can punch in all of this information. It's going to give me a rough estimation as to how much my degree could cost me per year. Okay. Let's take a look at some of those financial supports. Not a lot of people think when it comes to their investment in their education, because that's exactly what tuition is. Actually, time as well. Time as well is ROI, return on investment in yourself. When you're applying to UTM in particular, we do consider entrance scholarships automatically. But we start looking at these entrance scholarships 90% and going up incrementally. This is another reason why I want you to know what are the grades being submitted by your high school and the OUAC to UTM or any other universities that you're looking at. What is the range that we start to consider you automatically for scholarships? Remember, when I say 90% and going up incrementally, I'm talking specifically about scholarships, not about percentages for admission. We also have in-course scholarships available for students as well. So that's second and third year. So while I'm in classes, I could in fact get scholarships. Another important thing for you to know is that a lot of these scholarships could actually come out of your department of study or your program of study. There are community entrance scholarships. Some of them students are considered for automatically, but some you need to apply. Guess what? You can go to the Google machine and you can see what those scholarships are. Could it be student leadership scholarship, perhaps, that you need to apply for? Don't forget about government aid. So in Ontario, it is in fact OSAP. So a student could apply for OSAP. It could be in the form of loans and grants. If I want to be considered automatically for UTAPS, which is a financial program at U of T, whereby if you haven't met the tuition required for your program of study, UTAPS will automatically consider your tuition fees and top it up for you. But you need to take advantage of all of the loans and grants that are made available to you through OSAP. Please don't forget, we have work-study programs available for current students at UTM as well. As a matter of fact, we have our own work-study students in our office. They're learning skills. They're learning about kind of like the behind the scenes. They are actually developing skills as well. So on top of those skills, those mind skills, they're developing those practical skills as well. And guess what? They're getting paid. They're getting that experience and they're getting paid. Hey, as I had mentioned to you, those scholarships starting at 90% and going up incrementally, please, I want to remind you that this is not to consider your application. This is for scholarship consideration automatically. The other really great, exciting thing that we have at UTM are international scholarships available for exceptional international students as well. So they do go up to $100,000 or $180,000. Students are automatically considered for these scholarships by committee as well. We want you to make the most of your experience. Listen, I've met a lot of students, okay? I've met a lot of these students because they have seized these opportunities. They have gotten involved. They've taken advantage of all of the different opportunities available. And you know what? When you take advantage of certain opportunities, what they say is that the information you learn in the classroom actually starts to sink into your brain when you actually take advantage of all of these different opportunities. You also get to grow your network as well. You could develop friendships with people that will last the rest of your life. Let's talk about how you can get involved. There are so many different student clubs available through the student union as well. Different clubs that I know of is, oh my gosh, there are so many. The Black Students Association. I do believe that there's Quidditch available as well. So many different clubs for students to get involved with. Trent's going to talk a bit about that as well, and he's going to be coming up in a second. I'm not going to steal your thunder, Trent. Please don't forget there is the CCR available as well. So this kind of is like a record of your co-curricular activities. It's going to list for you what it was that you were involved in, the kind of skills that you developed. So when you graduate, you are showing people these are the practical skills I developed through getting involved. I really want you to seize different opportunities as well. So these different opportunities, we do have research experience years available for students, exchange programs. You could travel internationally. You could do a program over this. I really hope that you can travel internationally and do these programs. You could go with your class associated with a particular course code. You can go and study something abroad with your professor, with your class. There's the professional experience year. So for students in commerce, engineering, and computer science, after a student's third year of study, they can go and work in industry for 12 to 16 months, make some money, learn some skills, actually lead a project with a particular employer, come back, complete their undergraduate studies. There are internships. I talked about those work study programs as well. Please know your resources. Don't forget, when you're coming in your first year, there's the Gillespie Learning Center, Academic Skills Center available for students as well. So we're going to get you up to speed. The program is called Head Start. We're going to get you up to speed as to what the University of Toronto's expectations are of you. There is the Career Center, 5th best career center in Canada available as well to coach you through the processes of interviews to discover what the different types of careers are available within your program of study as well. We have the Health and Counseling Center, the International Education Center, where you're going to learn more about those different exchange programs. Trent's going to talk about student life. Professors and TAs are there to assist you. Don't forget, professors do have office hours. Students get to go and talk to their professors. These aren't people who only stand at the front of the room. They are available to talk to you, and academic and financial advisors as well. They're going to help you to design that undergraduate experience that I talked about before. Or if you're interested in those in-course scholarships, we do have financial aid advisors. Now, Trent, I know.
Hello. Thank you.
I know you have a lot to say about student life. I am all ears. I'm going to head to the back. I'm excited to hear what you have to say, Trent.
Well, thank you, Deborah. And I must say, every time I hear you do your presentation, I wish I could go back in time and go to UTM myself. I must say.
I know. I love it. See you later.
See you soon. All right, folks. Well, hello. As Deborah mentioned, my name is Trent, and I work with the Center for Student Engagement at the University of Toronto, Mississauga. I am super excited to talk to you about how we at UTM connect you to the school, to the campus, and to one another. So first, we are going to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the changes you can expect when you attend university. There are many changes, but these changes also bring upon incredible opportunities. Then, we'll spend some time looking at how we at UTM welcome and support you on your journey, before, during, and after you transition in. Finally, we will look at how you can get involved here at UTM and the options that are available to help you find your fit. So let's start with some changes. So university is a lot different than secondary school in a number of ways, but these changes do bring upon really exciting new opportunities. One change, which may seem kind of obvious, is that you will have this new and beautiful campus, these new surroundings. UTM has a beautiful campus tucked in the middle of both a city and a forest. It's really, really cool. You can walk along paths to see our new buildings, the beautiful trees, and if you're lucky, you might even see a deer. You will also have a new and different schedule. Class doesn't always start at 8, and it doesn't always end at 3. This may seem a little harder to keep track of at first, but you actually have the power to build your own schedule. With these new surroundings and this new schedule, you will have more freedom and flexibility, but in addition, you'll have some new academic expectations. University is very different from high school, and the expectations in class can be a little bit more, but as you'll see later, we have tons of programs and events to help ensure that you are ready to overcome any obstacles that you encounter. So your journey at UTM is full of changes, challenges, and amazing moments. All along this journey, we at UTM have fun and unique ways to support you, to ensure you have everything you need to make the most out of your time here. As a future UTM student, your journey starts now. All along your process, from before you apply, all the way to graduation, we have programs and opportunities to make you feel at home and ready to succeed. So we're going to start actually with before you even apply, because as funny as it may sound, UTM is already offering programs and ways for you to get to know campus and get involved. These include things which we've kind of heard about, such as tours, discussions, and workshops designed just for you. We have things called access days, which are opportunities for you to get to know what university is all about and see a little bit of UTM. There are also events on campus, such as sporting events or community events. These are a great way to see campus and understand what goes on here at UTM. To be on campus at UTM really helps you understand what we're all about. But we have what we call the transition roadmap, and this is something we've designed to help get you from the start all the way through into your university career. So applying to university is the start of an amazing journey, and it may seem a little bit confusing or challenging after that. But we at UTM have designed a roadmap of programs to help ensure your transition in and through university is a smooth one, where you can make the most out of your experience. So it starts with Eagle Connect. It works through orientation, launch, and on to however else you want to get involved. So let's start at the beginning. Our first stop is pre-arrival. So from the second you accept your offer, UTM has programs and resources to answer all of your questions and make you part of the UTM community right away. One of the main things we have is called Eagle Connect, which we'll talk about shortly. But in addition to that, we have a website fully dedicated to all of the needs of new UTM students. Are you worried about picking courses? You don't need to be. We have workshops designed to answer all of your questions. But let's look a little bit at Eagle Connect. So Eagle Connect is an online program that is designed to help you with your transition to UTM. Starting in June, there are weekly online modules that cover everything you need to know about your transition into the fall. You get to hear about any deadlines, tasks, or upcoming events, as well as learn more about UTM itself. In addition to this, you get to connect with your future classmates before you even arrive to campus. The best part? Each community has an upper year peer mentor who guides you through the summer and is there to answer any questions that you might have. But then you arrive. One of the most exciting times of your journey will be that first week of school. UTM offers a ton of amazing programs to help you get comfortable with campus, learn more about UTM, and probably most importantly, meet your classmates. Eagle Orientation is the main event most students talk about, but that's not all we have. We have Head Start, which is an academic preparation event designed and run by the Academic Skills Center. We also have our Student Union Orientation, as well as specific population orientations as well. But let's look at Eagle Orientation. One of the landmark events UTM offers to new students is Eagle Orientation, which is a week-long program with daily events to help you get to know campus, your academics, and, like I said, your classmates. There are sessions, events, and fun games and activities all week. It is the best way to get introduced to the amazing things UTM has to offer you. But your transition doesn't stop just after your first week. And UTM has some amazing opportunities for you to continue to connect with one another and have some fun on campus. We have Launch, which is a program designed specifically for new students to help them gain the knowledge and skills that they need to succeed. Additionally, we have programs like UTM1 and writing courses, which help teach fundamental skills that you need to be successful in the classroom. But let's take a look at Launch. Launch, which is a first-year transition program, runs in the first term and focuses on your specific academic stream. Some of the topics we cover in Launch are academic skills, personal wellness, and connecting with faculty members. There are interactive weekly sessions, which are run by an upper year peer mentor in your academic area. It is a great way to learn more about UTM, being a student, having fun, and of course, meeting new people. But first year is not the only time you get involved at UTM. We have so many clubs, groups, and other ways to engage on campus. There's something for everyone at UTM, and if not, you can make it. Deborah mentioned there's Quidditch clubs. Really, if there's something you want to do, we can figure it out. So this on your screen now is just a small sample of the many ways you can get involved in your time at UTM. So thank you so much for your time, and we really hope to see you at UTM one day soon. And I'm now going to invite Deborah back to join me up here.
That was amazing. Trent, you made me excited about being a student at UTM.
Well, thank you. I had to live up to, the expectations after your presentation. But yeah, we have tons to offer. And I think UTM really has that great balance of the academics and the opportunities outside of the classroom.
And the community.
And the community.
It's exceptional, the community. So you know what we're going to do right now, Trent? We're going to invite Arianne and Connor to come back on. And guess what? We're going to find out if there are any questions. How you doing, Arianne?
I'm good. I was just chilling here. I was seeing some great conversation.
I was just going to say, was it cozy back there?
Quite cozy.
Cozy back there?
For me?
Yeah. Were you cozy
yes,
back there?
I'm doing well. I've been having some great conversations with students. Of course, they don't always know it's me, but yeah, we've been having a lot of fun back here. I'll say, both of you shared some really great advice. I really wish I got to speak to someone like both of you when I was going through the whole application process. I think we all know how complicated it can seem sometimes, and you both made it seem so easy and so unintimidating. So we're very, very lucky that we had you here.
And I really got to say, for everybody in grade 9, grade 10 right now, you guys are so on it. If you're sitting here you are so on it. Hey, Connor, curious to know, what kind of questions were there back there?
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of really great questions. I'm going to start going through some of the ones that I handpicked, but for those of you in the audience, if anything comes to mind, please keep on asking them. We have Arianne here as well, and Trent from our Center for Student Engagement. They're both happy to help you as well. I have a lot here for Deborah. I also assembled a couple for Arianne just to get us started off. So let's get started with one of the first ones that came through for Deborah, actually. We had a student asking about whether the Mississauga campus offers co-op. So maybe if you want to briefly explain, what co-op is and what kind of options we have to offer here.
That's a super fantastic question. And you know what? A very popular question as well. So at the University of Toronto, the University of Toronto Scarborough campus is the only campus that we have that has a traditional co-op program. So if you were to take a look at the different programs available at UTSC, you're going to see that you have your general main type of program, but usually there's going to be a program associated with it that is co-op. When you take a look at the UAB, you're going to see a C, which represents co-op. Now let's come back to Mississauga. We don't have a traditional co-op program available at UTM. But what we do have, as I had mentioned earlier, are different experiential learning opportunities for you. So one of the ones that I want to bring up, there's different internships available. They could be associated with a specific course code. They could be paid or unpaid, depends on what that internship is available for you. So there, you're going to get some hands-on professional experience through that internship. We do, in fact, have different field course opportunities available as well. So once again, there's that practical experience that you're going to get. The one that I really love to talk about, though, are research opportunities, also known as ROPs. In a student's second, third, and fourth year, they have the opportunity to work in a lab with a professor and actually get experience doing research. There are some students who are actually within different discoveries, within journals, when they participated within research. So a student would apply for those research opportunities. And as I said, a student's second, third, or fourth year, and a student would earn credit through those research opportunities. The other thing I want to mention, Connor, before we move on, and this is something that a lot of people might not realize, research doesn't only happen in the sciences, it happens in the arts too.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I have one I set aside for Arianne. This one didn't come from the chat. I thought it might help get the ball rolling for students and maybe inspire some questions, though. Arianne, because I know you're involved in quite a few clubs. So I guess Wondering, first of all, how did you find out about them? And maybe if you want to talk more about your experiences, not on the academic side, but getting involved in campus and I guess how you came to that and what your experience has been like.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to say, like, Trent's presentation, I did all, like, not, if not all, but like most of those things. So, like, that Head Start program, like, that was so helpful because, like, for example, they were showing us things like, oh, if you're gonna write a math test in university, this is what it looks like because it doesn't look like the math test you wrote in high school. And it was those like orientation programs and workshops that I got to meet like upper year students who are involved in clubs and academic societies. And they always say, oh, like as a first year student, you should get a head start right away and start getting involved because the moment you hit second year and you realize you weren't involved in first year, you're going to regret it. And you want to get that experience right off the bat. So definitely by first year, I did the orientation provided by the Center for Student Engagement. I went to the UTMSU orientation, and they even had like clubs week in the beginning of the year. And that was when I got to learn about all the different clubs that existed on campus. And there's like over 120 of them. And I didn't know that at the time. So it was like overwhelming to like look at all of these clubs and meet all these people. But it was a great way of like seeing the campus life and the student experience. And that's how I learned about all of the clubs I'm part of now.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks very much, Ariane. I think that when we think of university, we tend to maybe think of the academic side of things, especially when we're just starting to think about higher education. But I think, as we all know, there's so much more to it than that. A university really becomes your home for the next 3 or 4 years, and it's so important to get involved, and it's also so enriching to be able to take part in those experiences outside of the classroom. So thank you very much, Ariane, for sharing. Now, Deborah, we've been getting a lot of questions about the application process. So I have one or two that I'm going to pass along to you. First and foremost, a student was asking whether the University of Toronto cares about whether you've been involved in extracurriculars in high school and all of that. So I was wondering if maybe you wanted to chat a little bit about, I guess, what it is that we're looking for when a student submits their application to us.
So it depends on where within the University of Toronto it is that you are applying. So when we're looking specifically at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, we have a supplementary application. That supplementary application is only with theater and drama in the form of an audition. So students do need to submit that supplementary application. They need to audition in order to be admitted into theater and drama. Now, if I'm looking at a different faculty or a different campus, let's say, and let's look to engineering, the Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering, they may be more interested in knowing what your extracurriculars were in their supplementary application. So they may ask, what was it that you were involved in high school? Now let's go back to UTM. If I'm getting involved in different co-curricular activities or different clubs or different committees, let's say I want to write for the student paper, it's great that I have extracurricular and co-curricular experiences from high school. If I did the yearbook, if I wrote for the student paper, these are all things that I'm going to add to my resume. The other thing about those extra and co-curricular activities is it helps you with time management as well. For when you get to university, you're going to understand how best to manage your time going to class and also getting involved.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Ariane, we're seeing some more questions coming in for you. Two of them are very similar. So students are asking, I guess, for your tips on balancing academics and your social life and just time management in general. I think we all know it can be a bit of an adjustment moving from high school to university. And I guess trying to manage what those, how to make that adjustment.
Yeah, so I will say the experience in first year is quite different from grade 12 because I feel like in high school, you had this laid out schedule for you. You had those 4 courses, they were happening at these times, and you had no choice. You just kind of like went to your classes. But in university, you have full control over when you want your classes, whether you want them in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. And like one of the things I learned was that there's no designated lunchtime. You eat lunch whenever you can. So it was really in gaining that independence of determining my own schedule, like when I wanted my classes, and factoring in when I wanted to hang out with my friends, when I wanted to participate in clubs and all these activities, that I learned how to manage my time. And so one of the things that's been really, really helpful is like having a planner. Basically just jot down like what does my month look like, and then I essentially like take it by week and then take it by day, and have like a daily to-do list that I check off things. And it's just so helpful to see what kinds of things that you're completing, what kind of task, and it makes you feel good at the end of every day. So I would say with your student experience, definitely don't just limit yourself to academics, because it was having these clubs and co-curricular activities that actually helped me manage and block out my time throughout the day.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I do have a question for Trent, and this one is also from me. I know that some of this is, on the topic of making that adjustment from high school to university. We've talked a lot about, I guess, some of the supports that are in place to help with that transition. Moving forward, I know a lot of it's going to come from the Academic Skills Center on campus, but I'm just curious if you can talk about, I guess, whether we do have supports in place for students once they get beyond first year to kind of help stay on top of that, because obviously, once again, it is a very different environment. It can be a little bit challenging, and some skills just take longer than 1 year to really master. If you want to maybe chat about that a little bit.
Yeah, happy to. So we have a few options for students. Because again, we like to acknowledge there is, academic skill supports are great, but there are so many other options, and some students prefer learning different ways. They maybe have different challenges. And one thing that is actually somewhat new is our second year supports program, which is kind of cool. So over the last while, we've had so many options for first year students, and we've now created some programming for students who are in their second year, but still looking for that support, whether it's that they didn't feel like they got enough of it in first year, perhaps. And over the last 2 years, we've really seen everyone can have a different experience in that time. So we have those programs, as well as students are looking to get involved in clubs, groups, to get to know other people on campus. That's an amazing support. In addition, we have cool things like UTM Lead, where you can work on your leadership skills. Really, if you're looking for a way to get support, involved, or just have some fun and meet people, the Center for Student Engagement is a great place to go. And you can reach out to us. We have a drop-in center. And really, if you show up and say, hey, here's what I need, or here's what I'm looking for, we are always ready to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trent. That's really great to hear. Going back to you, Deborah, when we were chatting about finances, we had a student ask a question about financial aid. So if a student takes out loans through the Ontario Student Assistance Program from the province of Ontario, do they need to be paying it off while they're studying? And I guess maybe also if you want to talk about a little bit about how a student can make money. And I know Arianne can talk about this a little bit as well.
So when it comes to the student loans, a student is going to apply for loans for that year of study. So they're going to have to continue to apply for loans. I strongly recommend that a student go to their financial advisor when they're doing their undergraduate studies. They're going to help them to figure out paying back that student loan. My assumption is that, you wouldn't be paying back the loan while you're in school. Otherwise, you might not have the loan to start with. But I suggest you see your academic advisor just to be absolutely certain. There are different ways for a student to make money while they're doing their undergraduate studies. And I had mentioned earlier the work study program. So you can be studying, and your employer, being the University of Toronto, is going to be paying close attention to the number of hours it is that you're working. So we don't want you to go over. Arianne, do you have anything to add about that work study opportunity?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
being a student ambassador with the Student Recruitment and Admissions Office is actually a work study opportunity. So not only do we kind of learn how the admissions process and helping out with like the campus tours, of course, you gain these skills of like communicating and presenting, but you're also able to manage it with your studies because you have these limited hours that you can work. And I think it's such a great idea because it's very flexible. I was always worried about seeing my friends who are working like jobs off campus and seeing, oh, I have an exam, but I got a shift at work. But here at UTM, they consider that. So definitely, if you do choose to go to UTM in the future, consider a work study program because it's a great way of earning money and also earning skills.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. Deborah, do we have a hard stop at 7 o'clock? Is that it?
We do, but I just want to go back, Connor, to
Sure.
Annie's question because I just saw it down there. It's gone. I think Annie, yes. So Annie's question, once again, I just want to go back to it. Do students pay off their debt during or after university? So it's set up that a student would pay for the student debt after university, depending on if it's the federal grant loan that's given or if it's the provincial loan that's given. There is a grace period that students have to start paying off their student loan. Now, Annie, depends on when you get here, when you finish your degree, right? As to what the rules are going to look like in paying that debt. But the point is that when you graduate, the government wants you to get a job and then start paying back that loan. So I just wanted to top off Annie's question there. So most people pay after.
Great. That's really great insight. Thank you. So I noticed it's 7 o'clock. So if you'd like, I'll hand it right back to you, Deborah, if you want to put a nice little bow on this evening's presentation.
You know what, Connor? I have a big bow, a big red bow. I want to thank everybody in our audience this evening in the metaverse for joining us, for pulling up that virtual seat and spending an hour with us. I truly enjoyed myself. Hey, Trent, how did you feel about it?
I felt fantastic about it. As always, there's no better way to spend the afternoon or the evening than listening to you present, Deborah. It's better than anything on TV.
Wow, Trent, you want to be my best friend. Arianne, how did you feel about it?
It was awesome. I think everyone asked really great questions, and I hope they learned something tonight.
And Connor, I really want to thank you for coming forward with those questions. I want to thank everyone this evening for joining us. I truly hope that you were able to take away some information that's going to be valuable for you. Please don't forget to do your research. And when you're applying to UTM, you know when to get that application in early. Thank you, everyone. And have a wonderful evening, morning, or afternoon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.